Yuji Itadori is one of the most promising characters for this fight against Sukuna. We already know that he has gotten stronger, but we do not have enough information on what makes him that strong. Now, the obvious answer is a curse technique, but we still do not know what that curse technique will be, as well as how strong it could be. In this video, we are going to talk about how much potential Yuji has to being the MVP in that fight, as well as what his newfound power-up or curse technique could be. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Let's get into it. The first thing to talk about is the punch that Yuji landed on Sukuna. A lot of people simply assume that he's way stronger than he used to be, but in my opinion it has something to do with their soul and some form of resonance. And while there is no denying that he obviously got strong, I feel like it is still too soon to talk about Kashimo or Yuta. We have to wait for more information to determine how strong he actually is and what that punch could have been. We have also seen a lot of impressive things from Yuji against Sukuna. First, we have Yuji chasing after Sukuna and still being able to keep him in sight. Now of course there's a possibility that Sukuna is just holding back, but there is no confirmation for that, meaning that it is still very impressive and important to consider it. There's also this part where I'm not sure, but it looks like Yuji is tanking Sukuna's slashes without even taking any damage. Now maybe he just didn't even get hit, but it's not clear enough to tell. As we've been told before, Yuji is basically like a cursed object that has been soaked in Sukuna's curse energy, meaning that logically he should have developed some form of resistance to that same curse energy. Another example of this is Gojo tanking his own purple and assuming that the reason why he didn't take this much damage is because it was his own attack from his own curse energy. That resistance could even be the reason why he would manage to beat Sukuna in the end, because realistically there doesn't seem to be anything they can do. But this is obviously not enough. As we've already seen, a Sukuna who's probably holding back is still faster and stronger than Yuji. Yuji's main assets are his physical abilities, and the only time he struggles is due to his lack of curse technique and the fact that his opponent has better jujutsu. When it comes to just hand-to-hand abilities, Yuji has never lost to anyone, but even Sukuna is proving to be better than him in his own department, which of course makes a lot of sense. The only thing that will really make a difference and allow Yuji to get a chance of winning will be a curse technique, and there are a lot of theories surrounding Yuji's curse technique. The first one will simply be blood manipulation. It was heavily implied that Yuji ate all of the death paintings, and with Kenjaku having a relation with the Kamo clan, it wouldn't be surprising for Yuji to have inherited that same technique. Another thing that could confirm this theory is Yuji talking to Choso and Kamo about this. While making their plans to jump in the fight against Sukuna, we can see Yuji thanking Kamo for helping him during this training, while also saying that Choso wasn't really good at teaching. The only thing that these two have in common, at least that we know of, is blood manipulation. And now considering the fact that there's a possibility for Yuji to have the technique in him, there's only one thing that those two could be teaching him, which would also work well with the theory of Yuji eating all of the death paintings and getting all of their abilities. For this next one, I wanna give a shout out to Kaio Brace, a great content creator. You should check him out. In his video about Yuji's curse technique, he brings up the fact that the death paintings abilities could be related to the Kusosu. For more information on this, his link will be in the description. But the simple way to put this is that every single one of its steps represents a death painting ability, and with Yuji eating all of them, there's a possibility of Yuji currently having 9 curse techniques, 9 blood manipulation related curse techniques. I just thought the theory was interesting, so I just had to bring it up here. The next theory is about Yuji having Sukuna's curse technique or curse techniques, whatever you wanna call it. As established very early in the story, a curse technique is an application of curse energy, just like a TV being an application of electricity. We also know that everybody's curse energy is different and has different properties, which is the reason why everybody develops different curse techniques, with Yuji's curse energy being mixed with Sukuna's curse energy, so logically the same curse energy should end up having similar applications, no matter if it is the same person or not. So even though it isn't guaranteed that Yuji is going to get Shrine's curse techniques, there's still a possibility of him getting something similar, another curse technique that could come from Sukuna's curse energy. The main reason why I think it will be something different is because it isn't exactly Sukuna's curse energy. Yuji has all sorts of curse energy inside him. There's his own unique curse energy on top of Kenjaku's curse energy, or even Sukuna's curse energy, on top of his soul being completely different from everybody else's. And while Yuji will have a lot of potential and be a strong sorcerer, I still see a big problem with this theory. The simple fact that he wouldn't be effective against Sukuna. Going by the same logic that Yuji should be resistant to Sukuna because they share the curse energy, Sukuna should also be resistant to his own, meaning that Sukuna would also have some form of resistance against Yuji's abilities, and the only way for Yuji to beat him at that point would be for Yuji to be even stronger than him. And I not only do not believe in that, but I don't even want that, at least for the sake of everything making sense. Another theory that I've been seeing a lot is about Yuji having some form of Ayanura past, like Yuji being the reincarnation of Sukuna's brother or another one of his family members. And the easiest thing to notice is that they have the same hair color, which wouldn't be surprising if they were actually from the same family. Another argument for this is that Yuji is the only person being able to hold Sukuna's soul. And even though we already have an explanation for that because Kenjaku did it on purpose, I still find it crazy to believe that Kenjaku can create a vessel that would be strong enough to hold Sukuna. So what if Kenjaku did something that we do not know yet, in order to have some form of reincarnation with his last son, which will be the reason why Sukuna said Kenjaku does the grossest thing sometimes. Sukuna had some form of memory or some form of resonance when Yuji got mad during the calling game, right after Sukuna took Megumi's body. And it literally said those words, "The boy is from that time." That theory could mean two things. The first theory could be backing up my previous point. Since they are related, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise if they ended up having something similar as a curse technique. So on top of Yuji being soaked in Sukuna's curse energy, being related to him would be another reason why he could have something similar to his. But the second theory would be that Yuji has his own curse technique from back then. She simply has to awaken. And I think this one would make more sense, because in this case there's actually a possibility of Yuji being able to defeat Sukuna. What if Sukuna's relative actually had a curse technique that could be a counter to him? Meaning that even though Yuji would be weaker, it would not only have the resistance to Sukuna, but it would also have access to a curse technique that can destroy Sukuna, which could give him a massive advantage in the fight, especially with the support of everybody else that is present on the scene. Add this to people's theories about Megumi, Nobara, or Gojo coming back. Yuji will now have powerful allies that can simply be good in combat or even nerf Sukuna's soul by attacking him directly from the inside. We still do not know what exactly Kenjaku plans are and whose side is he on. He might not even be on Sukuna's side, and maybe he actually wants Sukuna to be defeated, and the only way for him to do so was by this reincarnation. So maybe him saying that Yuji wasn't part of the plan is just a lie, because Yuji is actually the most important part of his plan. But to be fair, this one might be a reach. For the last theory, Yuji's curse technique might be related to the soul. As seen before the Battle of the Strongest, Yuji is training with Kusakabe. We then witness Yuji knocking Kusakabe to the ground, but actually addresses him as Yuji, almost like they both swapped soul. We do not know any character that has the ability to do something like that, except Yuji, who didn't have a curse technique, meaning that there is a possibility of Yuji developing a curse technique that allows him to swap soul during that time skip. And even if it isn't exactly soul swapping, it would still be something related to the soul, something that would allow him to interact with it. Another thing that backs up this theory is Yuji's exchange with Mahito. During the Shibuya arc, Mahito managed to reach his final form by fully realizing his soul, and this was all due to him hitting black flashes during the fight. And we've already seen multiple times that hitting a black flash allows somebody to enter the zone or to reach some form of awakening. We can see this with Yuji after hitting his first black flash. Yuji was feeling his energy flowing after hitting Hanami for the first time with a black flash, a feeling completely different from what he ever felt before. Mahito sensing that he was evolving very quickly every single time he could hit a black flash, and he even reached his body of distorted killing after hitting the last one. Of course, we didn't notice that with Gojo because he's already at the top of everything. His knowledge on Jujutsu and curse energy is already close to perfect, so aside from him getting in the zone, we wouldn't see him learn something new or realize his soul or something along those lines. But even though Yuji hit multiple black flashes, we clearly see that he didn't reach that point yet, and he hasn't hit one ever since his fight against Mahito. We knew that the whole point for that fight was for them to evolve. They couldn't exist with each other. While killing Yuji would have marked the actual birthday of Mahito, killing Mahito was going to allow Yuji to grow into an even better person, and we are now seeing what happens in the world where Yuji wins. But there's a possibility for Sukuna toying with Yuji's soul and actually hindering his growth, which would be the reason why no matter the amount of black flashes that he hit before, was never able to actually grow as much as he was supposed to. But now that Sukuna is gone, Yuji has the potential to actually become who he needs to become, meaning that hitting one or a couple black flashes during the Sukuna fight could allow Yuji to fully realize his soul as well, for him to fully develop his soul technique no matter what he's actually supposed to do, whether it is swapping soul or even actually reshaping his soul just like idol transfiguration. And finally, we need to talk about Yuji's mindset. It has been stated and shown multiple times that what makes a Jujutsu sorcerer stronger is his emotions, his mindset. A character who's ready to give everything he has either to simply grow stronger or to accomplish a certain goal is bound to become one of the strongest. And we've already seen Yuji's conviction when it came to actually getting rid of Sukuna. He said he would be ready to eat anything in order to grow stronger, now to defeat him. That on top of the loss of a lot of his friends or even Gojo recently. Yuji is currently doing a good job at channeling his emotions, but in the end those same emotions could be the reason for a big power up, which would actually get him to a point where he would actually stand a chance. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all for making it to this point, and I will see you all next time. Peace. If you're interested in any sort of anime clothing or accessories, look no further than Anime Express. Whether you're looking for style, comfort, or both, they got you covered. You can choose from all sorts of series going from Jujutsu Kaisen to Attack on Titan to Dragon Ball and way more. If you're interested, look at the link in my description, and by using code GodlyOmen10, you can get a 10% off on anything you buy. Enjoy your time, and thanks for Anime Express for sponsoring this video.